recording on this computer. All right, and again, we'll share this later on. So again, my name is Rich Howard. I am the camp director. You'll see Darren Coleman right below me, I think, depending on how your screens are set up. And Darren is the assistant camp director this summer. He's essentially my executive officer. To give you a little bit about myself, for those of you who don't know me, I am currently on the executive board with Hawk Mountain Council. I was previously the vice president of program and also the vice president of district operations. Darren, who's our assistant camp director, has just assumed the role of our council commissioner. So, we believe very strongly that our roles transition throughout the summer. And it's very, very important that we give you the best that we possibly can. So with that, I will also share with you that I'm a retired military officer and Darren is a retired police officer. We have an extensive background in scouting, but also very broadly in working with youth. And that includes, of course, youth and military, youth, and youth programs through the police department. So, this is truly our passion. All right. So again, welcome to Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation 2023. We want you to be a part of our journey. And if you want to hit the next slide on that, Darren, that'd be great. All right. So this is going to be an exciting new adventure. We've come up with a lot of things. We've spent a lot of time in the year-round programming season to spend some time looking at what we got as feedback from last summer. And we hit a couple of key points, and we're going to go into that. There's some exciting possibilities. We're going to kind of back up here a moment. But I want to talk just very, very briefly that some of the things that are potential changes for us, we're going to go into some different slides. We're going to talk about our CIT program. We're also going to talk about the merit badge offerings, and I'll explain that for those folks that have not heard that from me during summer camp, why we do the rotation that we do. Again, more activities ever before, more smiles, more opportunities for our scouts. This is going to be a great summer for us. All right, so we have both a program and an activities director. What we've decided to do is split our program and our activities into separate areas. That means you're going to see a lot of pop-up activities happening around camp. We are moving our nature and our ecology lodge temporarily into what was our OA village. Expectations of our staff will be set and they're going to be met. That's Darren's job as the executive officer of of our camp. And I want to make sure that that is, adhered to by our staff. The camp experience itself is new. We've talked about having some music, some musicians, speakers coming up during the week, offering some things in and around the Scouts B.S.A. headquarters area. Could be up at the Welcome Center, could be down at the dining hall. Again, many, many opportunities. Games. We're going to be putting in a volleyball section or a volleyball, what do you want to call that, pitch? I call everything a pitch. I played rugby, so volleyball pitch. But we're also going to have quates for those of you who are familiar with quates. And we're also going to have things such as horseshoes and some other pop-up type competitions, board games. By the way, we are looking at the Gaga ball pit. I will tell you that I received some feedback on that. The feedback on the Gaga ball pit, and this comes from National, is that there have to be 2 adult leaders present at all times. So a change from previously where a scout could come down and sound out a Gaga ball, that's probably not going to happen this summer. That's going to be something where an adult's going to have to come down and do that. We'll talk a little bit about our infrastructure goals for 2023. Now, again, these are things that Darren and I have been working on. I can't guarantee that all of them are going to happen, but we're working very hard to make sure that they do. It's the best of our ability. Infrastructure with the staff areas, we're looking at revising those staff areas this year and over the next several years. We may have to put some temporary measures in place because we're looking at some other things that we have to work on in camp that are part of our capital campaigns. So that may shift a little bit, but we can make some things happen for them this summer. One thing that is definitely going to happen per our scout executive for anybody who joins our staff is that there will be electric in every one of the staff sites, and they will have the ability to charge their phones. One thing that's big for staff is the ability to communicate, and a lot of them need that off time. They sit down, they play on their phones. We know how it is as leaders. They need to take that time for themselves. We are building a campfire stage that is going to be our OA lodge is going to take care of that. Ecology is going to move to what we know is our OA village. Now, I will caveat this with the OA village will remain the area where we do our opening campfire ceremonies for our new campers. It will also remain our area where we do our call out on Tuesday nights. So that will not change. We're forcing neater, well-kept program areas. We are going to be moving the leaders lounge. So we looked very, very carefully at where our leaders lounge currently is We want to make sure you have a space that you can hang out in, that's going to have coffee, good Wi-Fi connections. We're looking at putting some computer banks down there. What will happen with that is there's going to be a keypad access to that. You will get that. It will change week to week. The scouts are not going to be allowed in that leaders lounge. And of course, Darren, myself, and other senior staff members will come down and visit you from time to time to make sure everything's going well. The staff lounge, the senior staff will probably meet up in what is currently the B.S.A headquarters. And by the way, I will tell all of you that the mail room will remain in the B.S.A headquarters. That's just our chance for us to continue to meet and to talk all the time. And by the way, moving the leaders lounge down to the other side, or not the other side of camp, but into camp itself, into what we currently know as Randy Row, is where we're planning for it. That is going to allow us the opportunity to get out and walk around camp and see other things going on. So I think it's very great for us. Huge revamp on the store as well. And Darren, do you want to mention what we're looking at in the store? Or do you want to just move on with the slides here?
So apparently Rich has just gone into lock, but we're going to move the leader lounge over to Randy Rowe. As he said, we're going to have a little more control on the staff lounge, and then revamp the store with a lot more merchandise. And we have a lot of ideas, the nature, different jobs, skills, that kind of activities and games. We are adding in, and we talked about it. We went through all of the reviews of everything, and there was a lot of leaders saying that themselves at camp. So we are going to have all kinds of activities and games. You'll see in the leaders guide an actual one. I'll give you an example is that on Fridays in the morning, there will be a leader golf, a make your own club out of anything natural. You can't use anything that's man-made. And what will happen is it will be a par 30. Costumes are encouraged. It'll be a lot of fun and a chance for leaders to laugh and have a good time together and that kind of thing. There'll also be games throughout the weeks, out the week for adults. We are looking at ILS for adults. Right now, we're just trying to secure the ability for the training committee to put people in place to do that. And if they can't, we can certainly help with that. We're also, there'll be themed activities for our staff. We're going to keep our staff very busy, and that pop-up merit badges. This was a big success last year where on different times throughout the week, we had pop-up merit badges like chess. We had, let's see, traffic safety. There was law. Some of the merit badges that are I think that's what Rich and I call them, and basically anything that they can sign up for during the week. If you come in as a leader and you have the ability in that that particular area, or you have something that you think would fit into that, we can certainly offer that up and that kind of thing. And we've had a lot of leaders that like to do that and offer that up. It's certainly not something you're required to do, but if your troop has that ability, that's great. Pop-up activities and games. One of the things that we want to make sure is that every youth goes away with an experience at camp that they said, man, that was awesome. We had a great time. We had a lot of fun. And it's beyond just the merit badges. It's beyond just the regular program stuff. So that's why we brought in an activities director this year, and we're working really hard to where they will come around and be traveling around. And if they meet a group of scouts out on the trail, there's going to be a pop-up activity. And I will tell you, there'll be pop-up prizes with this if some of the kids are coming back to the sites and saying, hey, I just, I just won a dance contest. I won, some trivia contest. I did this, I did that. You're going to hear a lot about that kind of thing. We're trying to put together a media team that will walk around and take photos and be a part of that. And we're hoping to have monitors up where the previous day's pictures can rotate through on a monitor mealtime. daily paper as always. And then one that's near and dear to my heart, being the new council commissioner, is commissioner time with the troops. We have a commissioner staff that will come around and do the typical stuff at camp, but we want to take time out to talk to you and find out, exactly what you're looking for, and that. Rich, you back on?
I am, Darren. I don't know. Is there a delay for me, or do
No,
I seem to be?
no,
Good.
it sounds pretty good right now. So,
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed, folks. Of course, with 3 kids in the house, they're probably eating up all my bandwidth. This is the way it usually works. All right, so hey, let's move on to the next slide. Nope. Okay, so we've talked about some other exciting possibilities. We're talking about Baden Powell Thursdays. Our previous council commissioner, for those of you who know him, might play Baden Powell. He'd make a great one. He's a big, gregarious guy, and I think he'd be really great with our Pathfinder program. We have talked to him. We're pretty sure we're going to get him for at least our Thursdays. How that looks throughout the rest of the week. And oh, by the way, that brings up something else. We're really re-looking, along with our shooting sports director, how much of our cowboy action shoot that we can offer. I think what we're going to work on is potentially offering it 2 nights during the week rather than the one. We would probably draw down the numbers a little bit. We know it was really hard to get everyone through just doing it on one night. It will still likely be a lottery system, whether we keep it at 1 night or we make it 2. But we also want to make sure that each troop gets a fair chance to get that opportunity. So we're going to take a look at the throughput in camp each week, and then we might say, hey, each troop might get to pick 1 scout to go through rather than us doing the lottery ourselves, and potentially giving a very large troop might get nobody, and a very small troop might get a lot. We don't want to get into that. So we're relooking how we do it. But again, it's going to be a great program. And he was our Cowboy Action shooting sports director last summer. He's not coming back to us in that capacity, but Matt, again, will be coming back to do some other things. We're talking about a diners club. I'm not going to go into details on that. Some of these things we're going to leave kind of as open and fun and let you see it. Oh, if you go back one, Darren. A little bit delay. All right. Week-long camp-wide games, not just on Fridays. There'll probably be a culmination activity on Friday, but we're looking at how we can get patrols to be active throughout the week. We're talking about gift certificates, some outdoor bowling, and of course, he mentioned the prizes already. So on to the next slide. You can probably talk to that already. Okay, so it comes up. We're talking about Eagle Scouts and NYLT are going to get a bonus for signing up for summer camp staff. One thing that Darren and I have been working very hard to do is sign up a larger and much more dynamic staff. I mean, we had some great staff members last summer. We're hoping to get a lot of those young men and women back. But again, we're looking to expand that as well. Some of the camps around us have potentially are going to close or have closed for this upcoming summer. So we are looking out at other staff members from other programs. If you know somebody who's interested in summer camp staff, I believe this has been going out on our social media, our Facebook page. That is Hawk Mountain Council's Facebook page and the camp Facebook page. And I'd ask that you please download that, let them scan the QR code and send them to Darren and I as potential members of the staff. All right, next slide. All right, our CIT program. Now, I really want to key in on this. We really looked hard at our CIT program. I believe last year we had it marked at $600. That's very price prohibitive. So this is going to be a 3-week program. The total cost for the program is $150 for all 3 weeks. There are going to be 7 merit badges in that program. The first, the first 2 weeks, they'll get 2 merit badges. They'll get 2 merit badges in their second week. They'll get 2 in their third, and we have that 7th special merit badge. I can't tell you specifically what it's going to be, but it's going to be something that it's going to be harder to find and or earn in other locations. So we're really looking hard at that. They can come back in weeks 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is our shutdown week, potentially, and earn some money, basically earning back plus some what they paid for the CIT program. Now, I will tell you that it's going to be on an as invited basis. So the expectation is that we're seeing them really work hard to work through the CIT program. There's going to be training involved. There's going to be, again, working through merit badges, learning to teach merit badges. We do expect them to come back and work hard for us for the rest of the summer. So Again, it will be as invited into the program. There's no guarantee that they'll graduate CIT and be automatically a member of the camp staff. They can start in weeks 1, 2, or 3. They start in weeks 3, they work weeks basically 3, 4, and 5. And then in week 6 and 7, they potentially come back as staff members. And week 6 is where our Webelos extended and also our Cub extended programs are. And then we also have in week 7 is our shutdown week, which is pretty labor intensive. So next slide. So we have some great store ideas. We're certainly going to have a lot more merchandise. We're bringing back some things like some branding mugs. One of the things that I will share with you, we have 3 new brands. We're working through those right now. They're absolutely fantastic. We have a Wolf's Head representing our lodge. We have a Herbie Hawk, which is a Herbie Hawk by itself. And we also have a Herbie Hawk with Hawk Mountain Council around it. Those are things that we've been testing out over these last couple of weekends as we've gone through our Klondikes. I will tell you that those things will be available during the summer. Again, we're working through testing them on mugs and everything else, so we make sure we get it down right. We're also probably going to be getting some additional brands between now and the beginning of the summer. These were our 3 test brands. We really like what we have so far, and we're going to continue to work more of that. We're talking about some swag bags, pre-order, and also making your own t-shirt. We bought a t-shirt, a heat press to make your own t-shirt. So here's how this is going to look. And I think this is going to be great for our scouts. Scouts can come in. We're going to have some designs up on the wall. They walk in, they pick out a design, they pick out a t-shirt, and we're going to make that t-shirt for them. So it might be Herbie Hawk on there. By the way, this hawk off to the side, which I hope folks really like this hawk. Darren and I really love this. That's going to be one of the designs that's going to be available. I'm really looking forward to having that on my shirt. It's pretty stylized. We're also looking to do things like hats and everything else with this. So again, they'll pick out a design. They'll be able to put it on the front or the back of their t-shirt. It'll probably cost around, I think, $5 for the shirt and around, what do we talk about, Darren? Around $3 for the logo. Well, Darren, you're still muted.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the final on a shirt, but it'll certainly be at a reasonable rate, and it'll be the dry fit type shirts.
Yep, absolutely. So again, something I think we're really looking forward to having, and I think the scouts are really going to enjoy that opportunity as well. A lot more Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation swag. We heard what you said last summer. There wasn't a lot of stuff in the trading post. We're gonna deck that trading post out from top to bottom. There's going to be a section for the OA. There's going to be a section for NYLT. Likely be a section that goes with that for Wood Badge. Again, we're looking to really deck out the store with a lot of great items for all of you, as well as the things that you're going to need. So we've also looked into potentially, and again, we can't say that this is going to happen, building a relationship with Cabela's down the road. If you guys find that you get to camp, you need something, we'll work with you to get over there and help you get it. All right. I know it's only 20 minutes outside of camp, but if we can help you guys out, that's certainly something great for us to be able to do. All right, next slide. All right, so more on staff. Again, we're really obviously highlighting staff. We've built a pretty solid team already. We have a lot of young men and young women interested. We're really excited about the team we brought on board. I can tell you there are 4 internationals already hired. This is something that we've been missing for the last few years due to COVID. 4 internationals definitely hired. 2 more that are in the hiring process, and one of our council representatives will be going to England for a couple of days. And when that individual goes to England, they are going to be looking for at least another 5 to 10 staff members. We're hoping for 15 international staff. Some of those will be out on the road with our Cub programs, which are going on the road this summer for the majority of the time, but the others will be working for us. Dreaming thoughts of summer camp, enjoy the outdoors in PA. Certainly, again, coming to either Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation as a camper or coming on board as a staff member. We're looking forward to having you. And next slide. And that's it, folks.
That's it on those. So
right. Any questions so far? All right, so we also want to bring up our merit badge schedule. this is a slight change to folks who've been here before. I want to be able to at least talk through a little bit of this and explain what's going to happen. This has already been put up on Black Pug, so you can take a look at it there. There may be a slight change to one or two of these things, but again, with this is I would say a 99% solution at this point. So what you're looking at here, any area that's in pink is essentially where that program area has a break, if you will, but that's for them to manage with their staff. We've really opened this up. We've added another merit badge session. So there's actually up to 4 hour-and-a-half-long merit badge sessions or 6 hour-long merit badge sessions throughout the course of the day. So it gives you as the leader more opportunities to get your scouts into merit badges. We realize that was one of the challenges that we've had in the past. It also breaks up the day a little bit more, and it reduces a little bit the size of the siesta, which was another feedback that we received, that there was a little bit too much siesta time and scouts were hanging out in camp a little bit too much. So this gets them back out on the trail and gets them back into the program areas a little bit faster. Again, there is still some break time in there for the staff, which we have to do so that everybody understands. There's a couple of things with merit badges that I want to go through. Number one, we are required by the National Camp program that we adhere to, the National Camp Assessment Program. What we have to do is have a rotation. So usually a 3 to a 4 year rotation. We work off a 3-year rotation. That 3-year rotation this is the second year of our 3-year rotation. So you'll see some merit badges that have come in, some that have dropped out. And obviously there's quite a few that remain standards in our program. Sometimes things like orienteering, a fairly standard one. There's others that are in their first aid, swimming. Those are going to remain standards. Obviously, rifle, archery, shotgun camp is one of the few places to do those. But there are others that change out fairly often. So your handicraft area, your ecology and conservation area, your STEM area, those are all going to have some pretty big changes. And ODS is going to have some changes as well. Again, this is what we're looking at for this upcoming summer. We're really excited to offer this. The other thing I want to share with you about the merit badge program is, we expect that these scouts are going to complete the merit badges as required, or as it's been laid out. So we're looking very, very hard at all of the prerequisites to make sure they make sense. When we post this, and we actually hope to open this up a little bit early, we are still on target for a 1 March launch, but if we are able to launch this early, we will. And those that are already signed up for camp will receive notification that we are ready to launch early. We hope that up to 2 weeks early would be our launch period. So again, I think this is going to be something that's going to be a great opportunity. Any questions on the merit badge schedule?
Rich, it's Pam Vano. I do have a question for you. I
Yes.
see that we have B.S.A. snorkeling, mile swim, instructional swim all at the same time. Is the mile swim going to be done in the pool, or will that be in the lake?
Pam, I can't give an answer on that right now.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure which one it'll be. And again, we're going to have to manage some of those pieces. And it could be in the lake. There's some requirements that we have to have in the lake versus in the pool. So we're going to have to balance it out based on the number of staff members we have.
Okay. Because the question that I have, just looking at it as a water safety instructor, you've got 3 groups in a pool at the same time. Otherwise, that's a lot of people and not a lot of pool. Or are we also using both the Cub side and the Scout
Rich-
side for those activities?
Rich, if I can jump in, Pam, the waterfront director is the one who set up her schedule here. And I will tell you that she is planning on using, at this point, we are planning on using both pools and the lake. So for all kinds of things. So that's where we're at.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, Rich, it's Bernie.
Yeah. Hey, Bernie, how are you?
Good evening. I just want to say thanks to it doesn't overlap Pathfinders like it did last year. So when the kids, they couldn't go to both because obviously they're overlapping, but I'm glad you guys found an open spot for it.
Yeah, we did. And we're looking pretty hard at our Pathfinder program as well. For those of you who know it, we are looking for a really solid Pathfinder director this year. We have a couple of folks identified, but we realized how important that is to get our new scouts through a Pathfinder program to set them up for success in the future. So again, that's one thing we've been very selective with our senior staff, make sure we have the right folks running program areas, and we put a lot more on their shoulders to make sure it's running well. Any other questions?
I have a question. Kevin Couples here, Troop 33, Bath, Pennsylvania. If there's a merit badge that I don't see listed here, and we have a boy or two who are working on, it's actually personal finance, and if they do their prereqs, is there a chance that you might have a counselor that could assist them? We have a couple of boys who are
Kevin,
dialing
one of
in,
the that's
Eagle.
one of the 90-day merit badges. We do not usually work on those in camp because they have a 90-day requirement with them. So they're either completing those requirements most of it before camp or most of it after camp, if not all of it. We can certainly have them meet with a counselor to go over things, but I'm not sure we'd be able to help them complete it during camp time unless they came with all of the 90 days worked out already.
Correct.
And
That's what I was saying. If they come with prereqs.
So in those cases, we don't
Completed,
have any
would
prereqs.
that be a
but-
possible trying to find a counselor?
Well, I would also say they should be reaching out to a counselor before they start the merit badge. So that would be something you'd want to look at. You should be able to lean out in Scout Book and find a merit badge counselor here locally in our area that would be able to start with them on that, maybe do a Zoom meeting with them and then wrap it up with them at summer camp. That's an opportunity for them. But they should be
Okay.
meeting with the counselor before they start it. Does that answer your
Understood. That
question,
sounds like a
Kevin?
good. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome.
Hi, I may have missed it earlier. Is there additional fees for the merit badges like there were last year?
Yes, there will be some additional fees. Darren and I have gone through a lot of them and removed a lot of them. There were some that were attached to the lakefront and the aquatics merit badges. They've all been removed. Some of them still have those in there, and you will see that when you enter your merit badge. When you go in and enter them, they'll be in there. Obviously, shooting sports are still going to have those because there's an expense involved with buying the shotgun shells and the rifle shells. There's going to be obviously some for like basketry or pottery. There's expenses associated with that. So we've looked very carefully at those, and we've adjusted some of those downwards. I don't think anything's gone up this year at all, Darren. Do you remember anything that we added that we went up, or I think everything remained the same or went down? Oh, don't know if Darren heard me.
I did. I was just muted. No, there is nothing that went up. We actually removed quite a few of them. The ones that I think everybody understands, when there's a basketry kit or the shooting sports ones for sure. But many of you will see that some of the other $5, $10, and $15 fees are absolutely gone. We took
So I see Jace asked a question there. So Jace, let me answer your question for you. I think the way we've revised our program areas, moving ecology and conservation into the general camp area down by OA Village, is going to alleviate a lot of the travel time between merit badges. I will also tell you that while the merit badges are scheduled for an hour each, that's the easiest way to schedule them in the system, or an hour and a half each, depending on the merit badge. Some of them are actually, I think there's one that's 2 hours in here. There might be another one that's also 2 hours. But what I'm getting at is,
for those of you not, Rich.
Yeah, go ahead,
Rich. For those of you not familiar with our camp, everything will be in timing. Probably the only ones that they would have maybe a few minutes extra would be welding, automotive maintenance, and woodworking up at our compound. But beyond that, everything is within main camp and very close to one another. So it shouldn't fall into a problem.
right? Yeah, no, I agree, Darren. We've looked at this very carefully.
For any reason, we work.
Oh, we're both going back and forth here. So no, we've done a lot of work on this to make sure that everything's manageable. And again, they're going to be assured of time to get from merit badge program area to merit badge program area. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, Rich, Bernie again. I don't know. I joined late. I apologize. I don't know if you covered it or you're going to plan on covering the Pathfinder merit badges, or you're doing that later.
So again, we're going to work probably the same two merit badges we've worked in the past, Bernie, and that'll be just incorporated into the cost of what they're doing. We have looked at potentially replacing Indian lore with something else. I don't have a final answer on that. Right now, it remains Indian lore, and if it does change, we'll let you know.
Just an FYI, kids lose the pieces on Indian lore a lot because you know they're really young and they're not used to having mom or dad there. So if you could swap it out with something that doesn't have all those intricate pieces, might be something beneficial to the kids.
Yeah, we can certainly look at that. We appreciate the feedback on that. That was one of the reasons Darren and I looked at replacing that one, and it can be a little challenging in some respects for a first-year scout.
Yeah, and also cut down your cost too, because if you do something like there's no cost, then it helps the camp out too.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
Hey there, it's Pam again. I do have another question.
Sure.
Are there, off the top of your head, I know you don't have these memorized, but are there age requirements for some of the merit badges, like welding, automotive maintenance, woodworking,
There are age requirements for some of those, and Pam, I don't.
life-saving, so on and so forth, that we should be aware of?
So Pam, there are some. So for and look, I will tell you that most of those things are flexible as we move forward. So for example, a lot of times we say shotgun shooting for age 14. Now, look, the majority of kids who are under the age of 14 aren't big enough to lift a shotgun up. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some kids out there that, have been working, the farm equipment since the age of 8 and are Darren's size, about 6'4" and carrying themselves at 185. Certainly we're going to let that kid into shotgun shooting even if he is 12 or 13 years old. Darren's saying, giving his hands up. I only hope that we were that way at that age, at 13 or 14. But look, I just met a young man the other day who's 13 years old, and he looked like he was 17. I mean, he was massive. So there's a kid who could probably take shotgun shooting without a problem. Same thing applies to climbing. There's a requirement there. We don't necessarily put a lot of requirements on those things, but what I do recommend is if you have a question or you have a scout says, hey, I really want to take climbing, but I'm 13. What we do, Pam, is when they come in on first day, you can sign them up. You won't be able to sign them up for the merit badge because there's an age restriction on it. But what you do is you block out that time and you send Darren or I an email and say, hey, look, I have a scout who really wants to take this merit badge. They don't meet the age requirements, but we think that they could do the merit badge. I'm relying on you as the scoutmaster to make that decision. We have them meet with the program area director. If the program area director says, hey, absolutely, we think they can take the merit badge, we let them sign up. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I know it's a longer explanation, but I want to make sure that we understand how that process works for everybody.
I understand that. We also have, on my side of the world, I have girls, and some of them are on the more small side or young side and just very, how do I describe my SPL, adventurous?
Right. So Pam, my daughter, Ella, Ella for 13, 14-year-old, she's bigger than most 13, 14-year-olds and probably handle some of those bigger things. There's other girls that are her age that are half her size. So would have a challenge with those merit badges that we have age restriction on. So again, that's why we put those things in place. It's just a general rule of thumb. And again, we're willing to work with you. We had one last summer that was 13 years old and was already in a climbing gym. So we let him take climbing after the instructor met with him.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Are there any issues, concerns with what you guys have seen that you can feed back to Darren? That's, feedback's a gift.
Rich, I think for life saving, you got to have swimming in your pocket already.
Correct. Yep.
Rich.
Yes.
I believe for life saving, you already need to be completed with swimming merit badge. I think that's what the director said last year.
That would normally make very good sense that they have swimming already to do life saving. I don't think it's a requirement for merit badge, but I'll double check that.
Yeah,
that's
I know it's definitely on scuba, but you don't have scuba.
Correct. Yeah, we don't have scuba.
Cool.
We have a very shallow lake. I'm not sure how deep they'd be able to get with scuba. Any other questions? All right, folks. So it sounds like we've kind of come to an end here this evening. We've gone over the merit badges that we have. I do apologize. I want everyone to go back in and take a look at the current leaders guide. There was a disconnect for some reason when Darren and I were working our leaders guide last. It was uploaded with a previous list of the merit badges. That's been corrected. This is the correct merit badge schedule and the merit badges that we're offering this summer. And that now does match the leaders guide that is currently as of 20 January 2023. So please make sure that you have both of those. If you do still see the disconnect, please give me a call and let me know. Again, hey, we work very hard on these things. We want to make sure everything's right before we upload it, but it does happen that things come up, or sometimes we upload the wrong version. We're as human as anybody else. Just give us a quick call, shoot us a quick email. I think Darren put my email out there as richard.howett@scouting.org. That's HOWETT. And you just please reach out to me and let me know if there's something to miss, or that you see something that doesn't make any sense. We will make sure that it either gets corrected, we'll clarify it. That's part of our job, and we really enjoy doing it. All right, folks. Hey,
Hey,
Rich,
Rich.
oh, go ahead.
Hey, Rich, I don't know if you touched on it. Are you going to do the sign up sheet for the zip line so the kids don't have to sit there for an hour and a half waiting to go? Like that worked out really well last year.
Yeah, we will. We'll do the same thing. So some of what we found is some of the open program activities were extremely popular. And in order to alleviate long lines, now obviously there's things that impact that, weather impacts that, and that can be a challenge. But we have signups for it, and that kept things flowing very smoothly last summer. And I think almost every scout that had signed up for an open program opportunity got the chance to do it because of that sign up system. We'll have something similar, Bernie. It may be a lot more of these merit badges, and the open program opportunities are going to be on Black Pug. Some of those will open as you arrive. For example, the pop-up merit badges. That just allows us a little bit better tracking, and it also allows us the opportunity to put everything back into Black Pug, so you can check throughout the week as the merit badge instructors complete things.
Rich.
Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
Rich, do blue card thing, the blue card thing?
Yeah, so yeah, that's what Darren's referring to. So we are looking to do electronic blue cards this year. That would allow you then to, number one, check throughout the week how your scouts are doing in their merit badges, what they've completed. There are some things we need to put in place to allow our program area directors to do that. That may be one of the challenges we have, but certainly one of the things that we believe strongly that we'll be able to do with our office manager is to enter everything into the Black Pug system by the end of the week, so that you can leave and it's an electronic download that basically you take it, you download it, you upload it to either Troop Master, or you upload it straight into Scout Book, and it populates everything, populates the completions, populates the partials, and you're rolling out there without having to touch a single blue card is our intent. I would tell you, I see the question from George. George, you can bring them along, certainly as a good backup. We expect that system to be tested and running. Yeah, somebody says, thank you for moving away from blue cards. Yeah, believe me, as a Scoutmaster myself, I love moving away from blue cards. It's great to be able to just click a button inside Scout Book, as I do with a lot of Darren's scouts. Darren's an assistant Scoutmaster with a nearby troop. I've been a Scoutmaster, and I'm also a crew advisor. So yeah, I get it. In any case, yes, we are going to be moving away from the blue cards, but please do bring them just in case we have a challenge or a problem. I'm not expecting anything, but again, it's always good to have a backup plan in place. Any other questions?
Hey, Rich, I joined late. Well, the dinner, are we going to be in the mess hall?
Yes, we will be in the mess hall. No questions asked.
Perfect. What was breakfast? Is that in the camp?
Breakfast will still be in the camp. That turned out to be very, very popular, Bernie. I don't know how your troop felt about it.
I liked it. Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Breakfast. So we're still going to allow one vehicle into camp. You guys can come down, pick up your breakfast. Lunch will be a grab and go lunch. Again, the siesta is a little shorter. It's only an hour long versus 2. So we're hoping these scouts can grab their lunch, eat it, and get back in the program and doing those things. And then dinner will be available to those in the mess hall. If you are a troop that does a heater stack, you need to reach out to Darren and I, because we need to work out some of the details for that. One of the challenges that we have with running both heater stack and the dining hall is the amount of staff required to do both. So what we're looking at doing is asking for a volunteer, one of your leaders, to come down and either help clean up everything in the dining hall afterwards. It may be coming down to at least, obviously you're going to use your vehicle to come down and pick everything up. But we may need somebody to help pack it up and get it out the door for us as well. It wouldn't be doing anything like cooking or anything like that, but helping us pack up your meal and get it out the door might be a requirement. So we just don't have the ability with the number of staff that we were able to hire in the dining hall over the last couple of years. It just does not work very well. We have to have a substantially larger staff to be able to do both effectively at the same time, and we haven't reached that in years. Yeah, I see that question. Yes. Completions will be known by Friday morning, with the exception of those that are our usual completions on Friday. For example, some of the aquatics merit badges may need to wrap some things up on Friday morning. Shooting sports usually wraps things up on Friday morning. So those merit badges, as it has always been in the past, those merit badges, usually you don't see those completions until the afternoon, but most everything else you will see by Friday at noon.
So Reg.
Yep.
Reg in there, or comment. If you haven't moved to that as of yet, when you download it, you do have the option of doing it in different formats. So you can put it into your own format and that kind of thing, and it will allow. It doesn't have to necessarily be into Scout Book or put into the other one. What was Scout? Troop Master. But you can put it into whatever you want. The nice thing about it is, having used it at a different camp, is they Monday, Tuesday, you start to get a sense of putting the things in, and it keeps it up to date and that kind of thing all the way through. Rich, that brings up camp security this year.
So we're relooking camp security. One thing that, and this is a direction from our Scout executive, we're still working through some of the details on this. The Scout executive essentially wants camp to be, you come in on Sunday, we're locking the gates. Now, that doesn't mean that you as a leader can't leave camp. All right. I want to make that very clear. What that means is we're going to have to coordinate for some things. So I'm recommending that if you have a vehicle that you're bringing into camp, plan on that vehicle remaining in camp. It will still be your transportation to get your meals. If you have a scout that, breaks an ankle and needs to, get transported to different program areas, we're fine with that. If you plan on going out to go get something, you might want to try to have a vehicle available to you in the parking lot. You can drop somebody off at the gate and let them out and go out and get whatever you need to get. Again, that doesn't mean that you can't get your vehicle out of camp, but we're going to, again, have to coordinate that. That is, again, coming from our Scout executive. A lot of things we've seen over this last year have, obviously shocked us very, very deeply as a country. And, one of the first things that we have to do, and this comes from Darren's background as well as a law enforcement officer, mine as a military police officer for part of my career as a provost marshal. Security is extremely important, and our scouts, our youth, are our most precious resource. So I ask you to bear with us on that. There will be the same thing we've done in the past. The name tags, there'll be the nice name tags with a photo for all the staff. There will be wristbands for everybody. I will tell you that anybody coming in prior to 4 o'clock on Friday, anybody coming in before 4 o'clock p.m. on Friday, those that are coming in for the chicken dinner and just for the closing campfire, will be required to have youth protection training. They will need to be registered as a leader in the scouting program. Okay.
Oh,
So I know some units love to have Friday mornings. They bring some of their committee chairs in, their parents in to do boards of review. Well, technically, if you look at the guide to advancement, they're all to be members of your committee, and they should all be registered scouters. I just want to make that a very clear caveat that they're going to need to come in, they're going to check in, they're going to sign in, they're going to get a wristband or some other form of identification to say they're allowed in camp. And if you note, by the way, the 72-hour rule has gone away. It will cease to exist as of 1 September. We're following that this summer. We followed it last summer. Any leader in camp must have youth protection training complete. They must be a registered leader, and they must have passed the background check. If you are from out of council, by the way, please bring a roster with you that shows your youth protection training complete. I believe it can be found in either Internet Advancements or I think there's a way to log into it via Scout Book too, although I have to go back into it. So please make sure that's done. Because we can't, if you're from out of council, we don't have any way to verify your youth protection training roster. So you need to bring it with you, or you bring the certificates. Everybody prints out their certificate and you just bring a copy with you. That's the other way to do it.
Hey, Rich, it's Bernie.
Yep.
So you're saying parents on the Friday chicken dinner. So 4 o'clock is the time you're going to open the door? Because obviously, 40 parents are not registered leaders.
Right. Yeah, that's correct, Bernie. We're looking at 4 o'clock as our time.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. I got to let everybody know because, they usually come around 2, 3.
Yeah. So 4 o'clock. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce that so we have a time frame of when they arrive. If you have somebody that does arrive early, Bernie, call us and we'll talk to them. But again, try to get everybody there at 4 would be very, very helpful to us.
No, no, they go get hotel rooms, so I'll tell them 4 o'clock. I'm not
okay, perfect.
I'm not
Love
start making it. It's a rule. 4 o'clock. Okay.
Bernie,
And then
that
chicken dinner is going to be in the camp because you're going to have a ton of people in, right?
Yes, it's gonna be in the camp.
Okay.
In the campsites usually is where that's been held.
Okay. Because we're kind of still.
Any other questions?
Rich, could we bring blue cards and have them get them stamped like we usually do? Do we have to get the electronic version?
Let me get back to you on that one, Bernie. I need to talk that over with Darren and my senior staff to make sure that we're capable of doing both, because it can be time consuming if we're working both programs at the same time.
Okay.
So let me get with them
cool.
and we'll discuss that. We'll get back to you with an answer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, issues, concerns that we can go over? I want to try to keep this before 8 o'clock. And again, we've recorded this, so hopefully we'll be able to upload this recording to our website and people can go back in and review it if they need to, or answer any questions they need. Again, I want to appreciate everybody's time on a Sunday night. I know how time consuming this is, and getting set up for summer camp. Certainly one of the most time consuming things we do as leaders is to make sure our scouts are set up for success, and as are we. So appreciate your time here, and we're going to have a couple other sessions. Yes, yeah, you can print blue cards from Black Pug. What I think Bernie's asking is whether or not we can do via the old system, where they basically bring a blue card to the counselor versus printing it from the Black Pug system. I know some folks still like the blue cards to retain the one card for the counselor and everybody else.
Yeah, that's just how we did it last year from the place we were at. So we just got the 3 sheets and just printed them right from the output, just so they would have their cards if they wanted the card.
Yeah, and we can do that, but yeah, I think Bernie was talking about bringing them just doing the old system. So Bernie, am I mistaken or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you're correct. Yeah. You're correct. How they doing it? How you've been doing it for 30 years?
Right. Okay. Yep. No problem.
With the stamp,
I think it's 30 plus years, Bernie, unless they had the change in color and blue cards. Because remember,
yeah, I don't know. I've been around that long.
Mr. G's been there how long?
41-ish, 42.
Yeah. Dear God.
Hopefully he comes back.
Yeah, I would love to have him, certainly.
Yeah.
Mr. G's been there since the camp opened. It's been awesome having him every year. All right. So, hey, with that, folks, if there's any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of the other team at our council. Obviously, I'm your first point of contact with Scouts B.S.A. questions. I try to get you, an answer within 24 to 48 hours. If there's something I can't get back to you on, I'll let you know. And I would ask that, obviously, with everything that's technology can be challenging for older guys like me. If I don't get back to you, holler at me. Send me another email. Hey, Rich, I haven't heard from you, and that'll prompt me to get back to you. I may have just missed it in my eyesight's starting to go. Please again, help me out, help yourselves out. Keep in contact with me. Let me know your issues, your concerns, and I look forward to seeing all of you at camp. Oh, but before we go, is there anyone here that has not actually signed up for Hawk Mountain Scout Reservation as of yet and is just on here as an information session? Okay, it doesn't sound like there's anybody out there. All right. Well, again, folks, thank you very much for your time this evening. We really appreciate it. And we will see you all very soon. It'll come up very fast.
Hey, Rich, can you hang on for a second?
I
On
can
a
certainly
call?
do that for you, Rick.
All
I'm
right,
going to stop
thanks.
recording now.
Yep.